Hi, everybody. Sup, dudes? Sup? What is up? Not much. And a whole lot all at the same time. It has felt like both an eventful and uneventful week in gaming news this week, because it's been both. Not a lot happened, but the things that did happen were pretty big for the communities they happened in. But how are you guys feeling tonight? How about you, Noel? What's going on in your world right now?
Not much. Mostly just been relaxing and all.
The Mario Brothers are doomed. We'll get into that here in a little bit. So, alright, so, you may notice this a little bit tonight. I don't have any pizza on me because these guys already had dinner for me. So what I have is both a Sloppy Joe sandwich. We're out of burger buns right now, so I'm using 12-grain bread instead. Didn't actually cost me a whole lot more. I want to know how you guys feel about this. Because whole grain is healthier for you, and after eating this stuff for a while, like, it was weird at first. Like, I didn't like the texture at all, but now that I've had it a couple times, white bread just feels boring by comparison. Like, I can't go back to it. It's... white bread tastes... white bread is to food now what water is to drinks, for me. Which, I know we agreed not to get political here on the stream, but do you think water has a taste?
Not really. I don't really get where you get, like, say, political.
It's one of those questions I've found. It's sort of like asking if a hot dog is a sandwich. People are very opinionated, and they have very strong opinions on that. Oh, Lord. Whether or not they mean it on purpose, so... Hey, have a good night, Ashidaru. Thanks for being here, buddy. And thank you for helping me with that picture, by the way, in between streams. So yes, I have a Sloppy Joe, and I have mac and cheese covered with breadcrumbs. Garlic breadcrumbs at that, because I am Wario's real-world equivalent in human form. I mean, it makes sense. I love garlic. I do everything I can to build up as much money as possible. And I'm generally insufferable to the people who don't know me very well, so... Alright. Let's get this discussion started, I think. For those of you who don't know, welcome to the last week's Leftovers podcast. I, of course, am Whatthefnu. Tonight I am joined by Noel Moogle as my co-host. Were you on the podcast last week?
Yes, I was.
And so was Dio, I believe, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's a little busy tonight, but the whole point of this is that I'm pretty much the only consistent person on here, so... yes, we're back. And tonight we're going to be talking about... So one of the big stories that happened, and this has kind of been flying under a lot of people's radars, but the implications of it could be really, really big. So, as it turns out, the Xbox Game Pass is coming to Switch. And basically what this means is it means that the Xbox Cloud service could allow you to play Xbox games on Switch consoles. There's also been rumblings from several different sources right now that Ori and the Blind Forest, Super Lucky Tale, and Cuphead are all coming to Nintendo's console, which is crazy. Like, the implications of this, we've never seen anything like this before. Like, a developer selling their own service on somebody else's hardware. It's a kind of a bold business move, and if they do it, if Nintendo lets them do it, that'd be kind of nuts. It's also really genius on Microsoft's part, in my opinion, because, well, they have to know they're in the third place position in this generation's console war. So it's like, fine, if people don't have our machine in their houses, we're just going to sell our products on somebody else's hardware. Do what we do
I
best.
mean, yeah, looking wealthier advertising-wise, at least so. It's not surprising they decide, let's join forces.
Better together. Okay, fine. Still love that picture.
Yeah, I'll never get that.
It actually comes into... I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Did that ever happen to you?
Yeah, it's happened before.
How many exclusives does that console have? More than you'd think. I mean, it all depends on what the service entails. Now, Lee's pointing out this is not official yet, but it's looking very, very strongly like it would be. And he brings up a really good point. Like, what would be the downside for Nintendo? Like, presumably they're going to take a cut of any sales made on here. Brings more games to their platform, plus it has 3 generations of consoles. Again, like Lee just said. Has all of these different games. It expands their library, and Microsoft gets access to a whole nother audience they wouldn't have had otherwise.
The only bad sign I could see about it is trying to get the controls to translate over to, like, the Joy-Cons.
I mean, the way the Joy-Cons are built, you can translate a lot of different game controllers to them. They have 2 shoulder buttons, they have a D-pad, 2 analog sticks, and they have 4 face buttons. So most control schemes will translate pretty well to it, I think. I'm pretty sure. Now, this actually brings me back mentally to a concept I've brought up before, which is when I eventually get around to developing my own video games, I'm going to try to port them to as many consoles as possible, because that means that people don't have to choose. That means no matter what type of hardware people have, whether they prefer playing on console, on PC, whether they like Nintendo a lot, whether they can only afford one console, like maybe all they've got is a PlayStation because they like the game selection, or maybe they have all of them and they just like the idea of playing on the one that's their favorite. I give them that option. I give them the ability to enjoy my games however they like, and so I don't really see any kind of downside to this. I think this is a pretty good move on their part.
I mean, they're literally... The only downside I can see is, like I said, if they don't emulate well on the system.
There is that, and this is also a cloud service. We also have to be careful of that, because cloud services have been a little spotty in the past. If they can get it to work solidly, like there are no performance issues, there are no quality issues, there isn't a whole lot of lag as long as you have a good connection, this will be golden. And there's another good point being brought up in chat, which is the big upside to the Switch is that you can play a lot of these on the go.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be able to play streaming go. If it's like cloud service, that would actually be a no.
Oh yeah! Yeah, I didn't even think of that, because you would need a consistent internet connection. That's a good point. Yeah, you'd either need to be using the Wi-Fi at your local cafe or something like that. Do people still hang out in cafes and play video games? I don't know.
I wouldn't know that. This is one of those scenarios, though, where, like I said, the only downside I can see is if the service does not work well with that hardware.
Only time will tell. Now, the other really big story, I think, that happened this past week, the one that I think almost everybody here is aware of, Reggie Fils-Aimé is stepping down from Nintendo. He isn't officially out of the company yet. He's leaving in April.
That honestly shocked me, though, after all the big news they had this month.
It did kind of come out of nowhere for a lot of people, but I don't want to say this is sad, because this isn't a bad thing for him. He said it himself in the video. This is just a chance for him to move on with his life. Like, for him to spend more time with his family, for him to... He's leaving on his own terms. He's not being fired. He's retiring. He's just moving on with his life, which... That's the best we could have hoped for with this.
I bring this up, though, because I have noticed a lot of people seem to already not be too pleased with his replacement.
Why not? I mean, what's wrong with Bowsette? I think she's a wonderful character.
Oh, God, I knew you would bring that joke.
Dude, the internet has brought that joke.
Oh, I know.
People are already making fan art of Doug Bowsette. Of, like, Doug from the cartoon wearing the super crown. And, like, getting horns and a shell and everything.
I was gonna say, if it's the actual guy, because there's actual pictures of him, there's a problem there.
There are some people who have been doing that too, don't get me wrong.
I mean, I'm willing to be cautiously optimistic.
But why are people complaining about his replacement? I'm kind of curious about that.
It's more, I think people really liked Reggie.
Yeah. It's sort of like when Iwata passed away. We haven't heard anything from his replacement. No, isn't he been showing up in a lot of the... Wasn't he the guy who stood around and introduced all of the new segments in the latest Nintendo Direct?
I legitimately would not know.
I think that's part of the problem if it is. Like, we don't even know. And if it is that guy, he's... I mean, he's there, he's doing his job, but he's not exactly the tour de force of personality that Iwata was. He's not, like... He's not doing really super weird things, like just staring at a bunch of bananas for no reason. We don't see, like, a puppet him just strolling down a hallway with Reggie and Miyamoto with enough swagger to support an entire frat house full of macho dudes.
I just love that, though. The freaking day that came out, like, Twitter was abuzz with Bow games. And I was laughing my ass off the entire time. Yeah, I will miss Reggie, not gonna lie. I mean, hell, this is the guy who basically introduced a lot of good stuff in my life, so. But, like I said, I'm going to give the new guy the benefit. As long as I don't see anything questionable, it should be fine.
Good call on that, by the way, Pillow Sledder. There was another song playing in the background. Now it should just be the relaxing music.
I was gonna say, it ain't on my end. I have my stuff muted.
But yeah, Reggie had a really good run. He made a lot of people laugh, he made a lot of people smile, he did some fantastic meme-y things. And now he's moving on to a new chapter in his life, and you know what? I hope he's happy. For all the joy he gave us, he deserves a little joy himself. He deserves that time with his family. He deserves to enjoy his retirement. So good on you, man. Thanks for being there for us while you were. And let's hope that his replacement brings us many, many more Bowsette memes to come. Let's hope this character never dies. We're going to keep making her a thing until she shows up in a game.
The only thing I'm a little nervous when it comes to the replacement thing is I'm hoping Nintendo America will still stay good after he left, because if there's one thing I give Nintendo America credit for, they tend to handle certain things well better than the other companies do.
Yeah, like unlike Nintendo Japan, Nintendo America actually understands how the internet works.
That's pretty much one thing I was gonna. Because I'm worried like, the new guy would just follow Nintendo Japan stuff and not bother to do his own thing.
Did you know, did you see that article? I forget which website wrote this, but there was a fake article somebody wrote about how Doug Bowser made it. So for anybody who doesn't know, Doug, that is his actual name, is Doug Bowser. It's his legal name. This is not a publicity stunt. That is actually what he's called, and he is now the CEO of Nintendo of America. And of course, people have been running with this pell-mell.
I think someone already drew Bowser in a business suit, if I remember correctly.
My favorite is Bowsette in a business suit. It's an animated GIF somebody did, and Mario and Luigi are tied up in the background. Because that was a thing in the actual video, was just a Mario and Luigi plushies that were tied up with a belt or something like that on the shelf in the background. And he was just nonchalantly telling people, yeah, I'm happy to be working here now. Thank you for having me. Let's have a good future together. Just completely ignoring that he had the Mario Brothers hostage. It was a GameCube cord. That's what it was.
I think the only little bit of nervousness I have with it, I don't want to see Nintendo do a shit ton of mobile stuff because of this.
I mean, they've been dipping their toe periodically, and we have that Mario Kart project that they're working on right now. They have, okay, let's go down their mobile projects. There's Fire Emblem Heroes, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, I think it is.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know what to make of that game anymore. Fire Emblem Heroes I hate because of how hero recruitment works. And how it's completely
Heroes get better over time.
Well, I've told that story before, right? They did that anniversary event before, where they were giving away free 5-star heroes to anybody who logged in during the period. It was like, okay, I finally, the only character I wanted, even having a shot at wedding Tharja again, made me super happy, and the fact that it was a guaranteed 5-star hero. All I had to do was make sure that I chose the red orb as the pool that I was selecting from.
Story.
And they didn't even give me the red pool. And I just basically at that point threw my phone over my shoulder and went, I don't want to play this game anymore. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, that's the case. I can understand your anger. I mean, I've had that happen to me in a few gacha games myself.
So, I mean, neither of those are hits. And then there's Dragalia Lost, which, man, I just couldn't get into that one.
I have heard good things about it. It's just the problem is it drains data like a motherfucker.
I mean, I'm sure it's an okay game. It's just, I don't know, it didn't resonate with me for whatever reason. I just wasn't getting into the story, the characters, the world, the concepts. Like, I figured out the plot twist after the first couple of missions. I knew exactly what was going on here, so it's like why watch the movie if you already know how it's going to end, right? Mario Run. I almost forgot about that one, which,
oh, wait. There was also that, Pokemon game. I forget what it was called.
Oh, yeah. There's been a couple Pokemon games.
I don't mean Go in this case. It was like some weird block thing. I forgot.
Yeah, that was based on the Pokemon figures. I saw somebody else playing that once, and that's a thing.
It plays itself. Like, there's a reason I stopped after a while.
Well, here's the thing. All of these games have been existing in the background, and yet we're still getting Metroid Prime 4. We're still getting, like, plenty of updates in Splatfest for Splatoon. They're still working on a new Animal Crossing. We're still getting... Nintendo's still being Nintendo, even though they're branching out into a completely different area. Like, these games can be over here doing their own thing, and we're still enjoying our stuff on Switch. If there had been a slowdown, if Nintendo said they were going to mainly focus on mobile from now on, then I think there would be a problem. But for now...
Yeah, I think that's where people would have revolted. Because a lot of people, especially a lot of, like, gamers tend to have the mindset of mobile is utter garbage.
It is, in a lot of cases. Unless it's a... The games that are really good on mobile are the exceptions to the rule. Those are the games like Monument Valley and its sequel. Those are the games like Florence. The ones that just defy all expectations to become something amazing.
Well, I think Jim Sterling put it best. The main reason a lot of people don't like mobile is, unfortunately, a lot of companies took advantage of it trying to make money into a cesspool.
And now loot boxes are becoming illegal in a lot of countries, so... A lot of these mobile games are probably in panic mode right now, being like, shit, shit, our entire livelihood is at stake here. What are we gonna do? How do we completely redesign our game right now? Like, as long as America doesn't do it, it's okay, but what if they do it? Oh, man.
I'll be honest, I don't see America doing it, if only because we're kind of the greed capital in a way.
The FCC is holding an investigation right now, like another one. They dropped the claims before, but now that Belgium has actually gone through and they beat EA in court, now they're thinking, maybe they're onto something here. Let's take a closer look at the practice this time.
Yeah, but the only problem I have is the FCC is owned by the government, and these are the guys who tried to destroy the internet, so I kind of don't trust them to come with a good ruling. I'm guessing in Lootbox case, that's one of those things that would be hard to, like, regulate. Or at least regulate well.
You know, I've actually... We should probably save this discussion for a little ways down, because I have a story about loot boxes. So I'm just going to end this on the note, because somebody brought this up. So somebody wrote an article about Doug Bowser, saying that he made a tweet or something that was along the lines of, I'm holding Mother 3 hostage until somebody brings me Princess Peach. And the current rumor was that Peach was seeking sanctuary in Mario's house right now. And an angry crowd of Nintendo fans were gathering outside his building, like, demanding he turn her over so that they could get Mother 3 in the States.
That's hilarious.
I don't know what to do, Mario told a member of the press. Like, Mother 3 is a pretty good game. Maybe I should turn her over. I don't know.
What are you doing? I'll kick your ass. Oh god, that's like the high pitch I've ever gone.
Hey, we'll settle it in Smash, bitch. Oh, but anyway.
I will seriously kick you with my ass.
I hope Doug Bowser's career is just as wonderfully meme-filled as Reggie's was. We can only hope, right? Fingers crossed.
Well, that's a good sign if that's true.
So, in other news, Epic Games. Let's talk about those guys for a while. I don't know how much everybody here actually cares about Fortnite, but Epic has done something really cool recently, and something really uncool happened to Fortnite. I'm going to talk about them in that order. So, this is hot on the heels of Blizzard dropping esports support for Heroes of the Storm. Epic just dropped $100 million into Fortnite's esports scene. And this isn't just... $3 million of that is being put into the World Cup, and the rest of it is prize pools being spread out into all kinds of little tournaments all over the place. That is... I think that is the textbook definition of fuck you money. That is just somebody who's like, you know what? We have a chance to make ourselves look really good here and show our most dedicated players that we actually care about them and we're going to give back to them and support them. So, yeah, here you go. Everybody gets a prize pool officially sponsored by Epic Games now.
The only thing is I can see it probably backfiring on if things go badly.
Nah, Fortnite is the game right now. Like, it's like how Call of Duty was the game there for a while.
Apex Legends kind of doing well too now.
Yeah, we'll see. Look, I'm gonna be real. I know it had a really good start, but I'm not... Aside from the mainly team-focused aspect, Overwatch did the same kind of thing. It tried to be this really big character shooter, and it sort of missed the point a little bit. There's this big... I could go into this big discussion about how Overwatch was basically trying to be Team Fortress 2, and it got really close. Overwatch is not a bad game by any means, but it fell just short of what it was trying to do. But we've had that discussion before. It's like, why does everybody love the medic, but they hate Mercy? Why does everybody love the engineer, but they despise Torbjorn and Bastion? Well, Torbjorn to a lesser extent, but...
That really is a hard...
It's the same sort of thing. Apex Legends is trying to one-up Fortnite, but I'm gonna be real. The one thing that would keep me coming back to that game, which is trying to unlock all of the costumes and customization options, that's missing. Like, the outfits in that game are just pants, dude. They're bad. They're like super basic palette swaps, and they don't even look that good. Not to mention the teamwork aspect. Like, I love playing support, but if even one person on your squad goes down, it's
crippling.
Everything just kind of falls apart. The problem with everybody not being able to take the same roles as everybody else, like, I want you to think about this in terms of, like, firefighters or army people or SWAT people. Like, everybody, there's not, like, one dedicated guy with a riot shield. There's not one dedicated guy who's carrying a rifle with him. Everybody has the same training in the different situations, because in the unfortunate situation where one dude goes down, everybody else can still pick up the slack. They're not crippled.
Well, immediately I can think of one of the reasons they do that is because there are times where, like, everyone wants to play the same type of character. Have a match with, like, 5 different snipers on the same team. So I could see them doing that to mitigate that problem. Because immediately that... go ahead.
So, in my opinion, Apex Legends is a good game. I don't think it's going to dethrone Fortnite. It's going to put up a hell of a fight, and it's going to have its diehard fans, but it's not going to dethrone Fortnite. Not yet. Not in the form it's currently in. It needs that something. It needs that spark. It needs that one little X factor to be added to it for it to really challenge that game. But time will tell. Maybe I'm wrong on this. We'll see.
Who knows?
Speaking of Fortnite, have you heard about the Fortnite Live Festival?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, so this was an unofficial Fortnite event that was being held at, let's see here, the Norfolk Showgrounds in Norwich, England. And oh boy.
Oh boy.
So they sold about 2,000 plus tickets, and one of the tickets you could buy was a £20 unlimited access wristband. This event, anybody who was there found out very quickly that this had zero official licensing and no input from Epic Games.
Ow.
There are all kinds of pictures that are coming out from this event. So, have you ever been to one of those fairs, quote unquote, that your school tries to put together? Where they make a token attempt. They make a token attempt to, like, we're going to put up some homemade attractions. We're going to try building some half-arsed. We're going to do our best here on a limited budget that a school has for extracurricular activities. It was like that.
Ouch.
There was a cave experience, which was just a tarpaulin taped over a lorry trailer, the world's saddest archery range, an inflatable llama, 4 go-karts, and an area where you could access the free-to-play game itself, although you had to pay for it.
Oh, for love of God. It's DashCon.
The worst part about this is, entrance queues took up about 2 hours, and the whole thing was incredibly understaffed. You brought up the DashCon thing, and I'm already seeing, like, edits and comments from people saying that this is akin to DashCon. Like, people have already made pictures editing the ball pit
Oh no!
into the pictures, which, oh, God bless you, internet. Never change, never forget, never forgive.
This day to me, that is still what the fuck territory.
Now, here's the thing. Epic has actually made an official statement now, stating that they are not impressed with what happened at this event, and they are actually seeking legal action against the people who organized this.
I don't blame them, because especially they made money off of that. Yeah, that's kind of the point. They literally need to do something.
So I'll keep you guys posted on this as the weeks go on, if we get any more news about it.
Reminds me of that one guy used to hold a Pokemon tournaments or events. I think it was around E3 or something.
Oh, and Nintendo sued him because of art he was using in his posters?
Yeah.
God, that's so shitty.
The difference being there is this deserves suing. Like, this is a case of, yeah, Epic's in the right if they sue this, whoever made that. At that point, you know, you're deliberately taking money from it.
So that was the Fortnite Live Festival. Now, we have a little bit of news from Platinum Games. One note is that they've released, if you want more information on Astral Chain, which was one of the cooler looking games at the Nintendo Direct last week, go look at their website. They've dropped some more details like names, lore about the world, talking about some of the things that are actually going on in the game. So if you want to know a little more about what that actually is and what it's all about, go check that out. But the other thing that happened with Platinum, and the one I want to open up a discussion on, is Hideki Kamiya, which, if you don't know, is basically the face of Platinum.
Basically, one of the best careers I've ever seen.
He posted a tweet which simply read, Bayonetta cross Mortal Kombat.
Oh, God.
He posted that, and you can imagine what the comments started to look like. Like, I don't know if he knew what the Mortal Kombat community was like when it came to any sort of potential leak of information or teaser or anything. He was probably just musing about the possibility. And
people blew up, essentially.
I want to know, what do you think about this? Do you think she'd be a good fit or not? Because it's not like she isn't brutal. Have you seen some of the ways she actually kills angels in her own game? She's brutal,
but it's at the same time, as I mentioned before when you brought this up to me before, I kind of don't like the idea of fatalities being performed on her.
Well, I mean, fatalities get performed on characters like Melina and Sonya Blade all the time, and we don't have a problem with it. Why is Bayonetta special?
Case, she's got that. Melina's case, I don't mind that face. Ugh. I mean, great, I feel bad considering how badly she gets treated in the series, but I don't think there's ever been a moment where she's had a happy ending.
Well, why is Bayonetta special? Is she too pretty to destroy or something like that?
I think it's more of a case of just... It's one of those cases I feel like with how she designed it would look awkward, for lack of a better. Because, I mean, she doesn't exactly have humanoid proportions.
Well, to be fair, there aren't many things that are realistic about Mortal Kombat. Like, let's be real. You're talking about a series that has ninjas that were turned into cyborgs, had their brains literally implanted into robots. You're talking about a series that has lizard people that can stretch out their tongues and, like, just rip people's heads off of their necks.
Everyone's made a plasticine in Mortal Kombat. I still think the funniest thing I've seen from that launch trailer was Baraka's new fatality. I've been just a blue before. The first thought that came to my mind when I saw that was the old Family Guy gag of Chris getting his face blown off by Peter. And I wouldn't be shocked if someone's edited it to do that. It still baffles me that's coming out on the Switch of all things.
What is?
Mortal Kombat 11.
Hey, a lot of people own the console. Why not, right?
Yeah, but you also said the last time Mortal Kombat was allowed on a Nintendo console, they censored the hell out of it.
Well, I mean, Nintendo has said that they were open to more adult-oriented video games going forward, which is why all of those... Okay, so a lot of people have asked me about this. They, like, have no idea where these images came from. So basically, that article came out, and Nintendo spokesperson said, yeah, Nintendo's open to more adult-oriented video games. And then this one post blew up of somebody responding to that in the most smart-ass way, which was just making a picture of Kirby sitting behind a desk that says Kirby does his taxes. And then a slew of those followed. It's like, Link applies for a car loan. Bowser and Peach go through a divorce. Things like that, and the most famous of which being Yoshi commits tax fraud. Which is such a ridiculous thing in the context of the series.
That's where that freaking meme came from. I've been wondering that.
It was all spun off from that one post. That's where that picture came from. And it didn't help that Siva Gunner hopped in on that joke, too. I'm pretty sure you can find that rip on YouTube still. Somebody had to have saved that.
I guess another thing I was going to bring up. I think the other reason I started a problem with Mortal Kombat, especially in today's society, if it's getting on the Switch, what do you think the first thing that's going to happen when that gets switches?
One more time?
I said, what do you think the first thing that's going to happen when that game gets ported to Switch? What people are going to say?
I like playing Mortal Kombat on the go.
I'm more bringing up what do you think's going to happen news-wise. You just know there's going to be some idiot parent out there who will get fucking pissed off at that being on the console.
Oh, please. If you don't want your kid playing that, you don't have to buy it for them. GameStops aren't allowed to sell mature-rated games to kids anyway. The logos are there. If you can't read, that's not our fault.
It's not a case of they can't read, it's a case of they expect this shit to babysit their kids, and so when their kids get something they don't like, then they don't blame themselves for shitty parenting, they blame the other stuff.
And everybody knows that's bullshit, so we don't have to worry about it. Like, everybody gets all up in arms every time some idiot says something and a news outlet reports on it, but we know it's horseshit, so we're just like, why is this newsworthy? Like, I mean, why is you being an idiot worth 15 minutes of fame? Like, seriously, that's the question we should be asking right now. It's just like,
I mean, hell,
why did you think this was a big deal?
I mean, hell, Chad Trunk makes a career making fun of those people. Like, oh god, I remember, I think it was one of the videos I watched of his. Literally, some idiot tried to act like Animal Crossing was a ground pedos.
No.
And tried to say that Tom Nook was a player character.
No. Nope. 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 I think you're just saying what you want to see out of this.
I don't know, people just get... I swear they say this shit just to get attention.
Some of them probably do. They'll never admit it because maybe they're not aware of it themselves. If you had that if you had that level of self-awareness, you'd never have ended up in this situation to begin with.
True.
But anyway.
Anyway, let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah. Remember how I said earlier I had a loot box story?
Yep.
So, supply drops, now known as reserve crates, but always known to everybody as loot boxes, have been stealth added into Black Ops 4.
And they're horrible.
Yep. The worst part is the in-game free ones you can earn only have one mystery item in them. The ones you can buy have 3.
Well, the worst part is it's unfortunately companies not wanting to act like the law of diminishing returns exists, and that's why this shit happens. They want to keep up that idea of infinite growth forever.
This is why companies are doing this. Like, they try to be sneaky about it now. They try to slip it in when nobody's looking. They try to nickel and dime people when nobody's looking. And it always fails. Because we've learned to be vigilant in this industry. We've learned to always keep one eye on the screen and one eye on the developer, being like, I see you. Don't think I don't. I know what you're doing.
And then they act like we should trust.
The only game developer I trust is myself. Honestly, at this point.
And Nintendo is usually pretty trustworthy. It's very... if they make a fuck up, they at least acknowledge it.
No, Nintendo will never admit that squashing the fan game scene is a bad idea.
Well, that's more probably the Nintendo Japan side doing that.
Like, I realize it's their copyright. They have the right, but it's not right. Right?
Oh, I'm with you. Mainly because, like I said, U.S. copyright law unfortunately forces you to be aggressive. It's annoying.
Whatever. Nobody likes loot boxes. Like, it's at the point where this has become a dirty word, where nobody looks at this business model anymore and can justify it. Like, we've heard the same hollow excuses so many times, and those excuses have been debunked so many times, that we're in a situation where people are trying to stealth add this shit into video games to try and pull one over on us. And I hope it doesn't work for Black Ops 4 either.
Well, that's the thing, too. Black Ops 4, to my knowledge, was doing well, so it doesn't even make sense from a why are you doing this thing?
No, it makes perfect sense. Because companies don't just want money. They want all the money.
And it's not even the companies themselves that want all the money, it's freaking investors they gotta...
I said this last week. Artists and investors don't mix. They don't have the same interests in heart. They're inevitably going to twist your work into something it was never meant to be, just to try and get more money out of people to try and get a bigger and bigger and bigger return on their investment, not realizing that shit has a limit. Customers can only be taken so far before they decide that they're tired of being taken advantage of at this point.
A perfect example is what happened to Shadows of the Damned years ago, where EA basically took Suda's vision and distorted it heavily. To the point where I think he outright got stressed out, if I heard correctly. It's a good game, don't get me wrong.
It's just not what it could have been.
Like, it doesn't feel like a Suda 51 game, is what I got it. Like, the wackiness is there, but it's more dick joke Suda rather than actual funny Suda.
To be fair, some of those dick jokes are pretty funny.
There's literally a level in that game where your gun becomes something called the Big Boner.
I remember that.
From calling it a sex hotline.
Oh, come on, that's funny. Can't look me in the eye and tell me that's not funny. The gun's name is Johnson. Like, the entire aesthetic of this game is being a B movie. If it hadn't committed to the bit, I would have been disappointed.
The only reason I draw spite towards that is because that level sucks dick. Because it's one of those levels where you gotta kill everything, and if they even get close to you once, oh, you're dead. I hate anything with instant kill bullshit in games. It's stupid.
We're getting a little off topic here, so do you want to move on to the next story?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, did you know that Google wants to get into the gaming scene? They've made a couple attempts to this in the past. They tried streaming one of the Assassin's Creed games to people through the Google Chrome browser. They dabbled in VR with their own headset a little ways ago. And now, it's been sending out invites to a game developer conference event that they're holding. And it just simply says, gather around. All will be revealed at the Google keynote.
I'm going to be perfectly honest, though, with that sort of thing. I don't see Google working as a company.
You know,
I mean, hell, they can barely keep YouTube afloat.
Oh shit. If they try to run a game development studio like they do YouTube, where that is gonna be a beautiful train wreck.
Such a cluster.
I mean, I hope it doesn't end up that way. I hope whatever's revealed at this is going to be something amazing. I hope it lives up to the potential of whatever the idea is. Because I'm sure they're going to sell it. Like, I'm sure they think they're onto something here. Whatever it's going to be, they're going to sell it like it's the next big thing. And you know what? I hope we live in the timeline where it actually is, where it ends up being something amazing. Just, this is going to be a developing story. And again, I'm going to keep my eyes on this one. Gonna keep my eyes on this one. YouTube, no one can have ad money now. Okay, I know we've gone on several tangents tonight, but I have to talk about that for a second. The fact that you can get demonetized because there's the potential of bad comments showing up on your video. Like, you heard about the whole... What's her name? This woman who kicked off this whole conversation. Like, it's through her we found out about all this.
She was posting videos of her kid doing gymnastics.
Right, okay, so...
Which, the problem there is, that also kind of brings up the conversation of why are you filming your kid and posting them online in the first place?
No, dude, that's not what this is about.
Oh, I know.
That's not even close to what this is about.
I know, but it does bring that up a little bit.
I know YouTube has a problem of, like, objectifying kids and whatnot, but the idea that even though YouTube itself agreed that she does a wonderful job monitoring her own comments section, YouTube tells her, we're not going to let you monetize these videos because made up reasons. It's like, even if you win, you lose. Even if you are playing by all the rules perfectly, they can still just arbitrarily decide at any time that you don't qualify for revenue anymore. It's just, this is not a... Man, I wanted to revive my YouTube channel. I had these plans right now. I have a document on my desktop that just says next, and it has all of these things that I'd like to do right now. And I will read them off to you in order. Get my finances figured out, become a respected voice actor, take Twitch to the next level, and revive the YouTube channel. Those are my 4 big bullet points in life right now, and I'm questioning the 4th one right now. Like, is this shit even worth it? I could put in all this time, all this effort, make the best videos I can, and be as careful as I want, and then one day, even more so than before, I could wake up one day and all of it is just gone at no fault of my own. For no reason whatsoever, all of it can be rendered meaningless in a second. How is this a good environment? How is this conducive to encouraging your creators to make good videos? This is such an insular platform. The only people who can win on YouTube with rules like this in place are the people who have already made it. Exactly. Oy vey. Oh, Dios mio. YouTube, just why, dude? Why do you exist the way you do?
Well, apparently there's a rumor now that they might just straight up get rid of the comments section.
See, here's the thing. Because of this whole situation, basically what this is, I think, is they're trying to bully their creators into disabling their own comment sections, because YouTube pulls this all the time. YouTube specifically, they want a hands-off approach. They want people to moderate themselves, to do things themselves, to solve their own problems. So they're trying to get people to disable their own comments section so that YouTube doesn't look like the bad guy.
Well, I think what bothers me more with that is this all started because of one jackass who won't quit.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about this guy earlier.
When I saw that last night, I wanted to throttle the son of a bitch after what he said.
Oh, careful. Don't say things like that on the internet.
Hey, I'm watching what I'm saying once.
I know, but threats can be taken the wrong way by the wrong people. All it takes is that one jackass to hear this, and you could get in a lot of trouble somehow.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't fathom how, but the idiots find a way.
Yeah, true. I'm just gonna keep neutral on it then.
But yeah, it is infuriating. This guy who is inventing reasons that YouTube is still... Here, you tell the story, because you know it better than I do. I only know what you've told me.
Basically, what happened was this random no-name YouTuber going by Matt What It Is made a video where he described basically getting sucked into like sort of a loop of kids videos on YouTube. Just, kids doing mundane things. And then he'd look in the comments section and see pedophilic comments, like where they would do timestamps and shit like that of questionable positions. And he decided to make a big stink about it. And now, for the past couple days, he's been making live streams, effectively telling his audience to spam this shit to advertisers, get them to pull their advertiser money.
There's a term for this on YouTube, and it unfortunately has a gigantic audience. Sorry, I've got a mouthful of Sloppy Joe right now. Don't take that out of context. It's called spilling tea. It's people who love seeing drama happen on the platform. And unfortunately, it's the same reason people read subreddits like r/entitled parents. They love seeing drama. They love seeing bad things happen and bad people, whatever that means in this context, having bad things happen to them. So this guy's rabble-rousing. He's inventing this problem. Like, I'm sure bad things are happening on YouTube. The world's full of all kinds of people. I'm sure there are some weirdos out there.
Well, but the reality
blaming
in this
the
scenario...
entire platform for that, and telling his audience to spam advertisers and send messages to them like, we're not going to buy your products anymore until you pull advertisement from YouTube, is going to have a knock-on effect that just ruins the platform for everybody.
I think what bothers me even more with that is, one, this isn't going to stop the pedos. And two, advertisers need to face facts. The internet is a different platform than TV. It's never going to be 100% safe. Every time they find one loophole and close it, they'll find another one to get through.
Uh-huh. It's, okay, this is about as political as I'm ever going to get, but it's one of the best points I've ever heard a politician make. This was in the wake of a school shooting. This was in the wake of the Las Vegas incident. One politician said, look, even if we ban, like, special arm guards and holds and attachments like that, people are gonna find ways to buy it anyway.
Right.
Like, people are gonna buy it illegally anyway. If they want this kind of thing, they're going to get it. So this isn't going to solve the problem.
I think what's even worse is, like I told you in the call, what he said in response when someone tried to call him out. Oh, you want to lose your YouTube money? Fine, get a real job.
And that is a line you... Like, he told that to Keemstar, didn't he?
Yep.
Which, oh boy, you don't cross that line with YouTubers. That is the #1 line that just makes our blood fucking boil.
Oh, it makes artists boil too, because it's happened to artist friends I know too. No. You don't fucking say that. That is an insult at that point.
And it's completely untrue, is the other thing. Like, that's a dumbass comment. That's coming from somebody who has no idea how much work it takes to actually make it on the platform.
basically they have the mindset a job shouldn't be something you like.
How can that be your job? You just talk. Let me tell you
I
something.
could do that.
It's like, yeah, and you know how many voice classes I've actually gone to? You know the vocal warm-ups that I have to do before I come on here to make sure that I don't get tired? Actually taking care of my voice and making sure the points that I share with people are smart and educated, and I say what I mean and I put myself out there. You know how much effort I've put into building my brand, to building my personality, to building up this reputation that people can trust what I say. They know who I am, what I stand for. That shit doesn't happen overnight. There is more to this than just standing in front of a camera and talking.
Reality is, it's more like some washed up asshole who got mad, just decided to take his anger out on everyone else. Especially considering other things we found out, which I'm not going to bring up here. I think we got off topic again.
No, it's fine. Like, I wanted to get to this. I'm the one who wanted to start off this conversation about, like, talking about everything that's wrong on YouTube right now. But you know what? I'm gonna say this straight up. I'm gonna say this here, and I don't care what people think of me. Because I think this is the one political stance worth taking, and I've said it on other streams before. I am glad YouTube is taking a stance against anti-vaxxing channels now.
Okay. Oh, you mean like the idiots who think, oh, vaccination makes your kid retarded?
Yeah, those people. The people who try to spread the quote-unquote dangers about vaccination. I fucking love how these people bend over backwards. They pull all kinds of mental gymnastics to try and justify it to themselves. It's like, you know, I have an immune system. Why do I need vaccinations? The answer to that, by the way, is you turn around to them and you say, yeah, so did the people who died of smallpox.
Or the plague.
We got rid of measles. Did you know that? We got rid of that, and it's come back. It's come back. Because people are refusing to... There's this subset of people who are refusing to vaccinate their kids right now because they love their personal freedom more than the safety of their fucking kids. God, I hate anti-vaxxers.
To be honest, those are the kind of people that go to a special kind of hell when they die.
I think it should be illegal. I think it should actually qualify as child abuse if you refuse to vaccinate your kids. And I'm glad YouTube has taken my same stance on that one. I'm glad they have gone out of their way to demonetize channels that promote this message, because it's dangerous. It is actually dangerous. Personal freedom should end at the point where you are literally endangering children.
Well, I think that's also, unfortunately, why this whole thing with YouTube is kind of kicking off, is whenever it comes to children, people do take that shit seriously.
And this is why I usually don't jump into this kind of thing, because, like, if politics were easy, we would have figured it out a long time ago.
Politics is one of those things that just no one will ever truly get. Because it's not, there's nothing to truly get about, for lack of a better term.
Alright.
Alright,
I think that's everything I had to say on that subject.
Yeah.
I've got it all off my chest now. I think we're good.
Let's go back to happy times.
Well, not exactly happy times. I only have 2 stories left here, and one of them is my last word for the week. Just a quick PSA here before we get into the ending of the show. If you have EA Origin, check your privacy settings, because they flipped the switch to on that shows your personal name instead of your username. So go check that. Go make sure that your privacy settings are exactly the way you want them to be. That's all I wanted to say on that one.
I don't blame you. I mean, I take my privacy seriously.
I mean, you guys have that luxury. My name was announced on the Crush Twitter not too long ago, so people know exactly who I am.
I can't hear that name and not laugh, and I'm not sure why.
It's a fun name. It's a very marketable name. But anyway, for those of you who aren't familiar with the last week's Leftover podcast, or the Pizza Cast before it, we had a segment at the end of the show where we talked about our last word, which basically is... It could be anything. It could be news from any sort of platform you want it to be, just something cool that you think happened in the last 7 days that you'd like to give more exposure to and talk about for a bit. And would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first? Because mine's going to be a little bit short.
The only real news I remember bringing up is, because I noticed it a while back, and God knows what done, was that update to Monster Boy recently. Which, like I said, I do feel fixed a lot of the problems the initial game had. You know, we have the multiple save slots now. We have an actual tracker for all the chests now. Make certain things just a lot easier to work with.
Okay.
I mean, the only other thing I guess I could bring up is the Capcom like being happy with the sales numbers of the Legacy collections.
Good.
And Mega Man 11.
Good.
Which hopefully means good news for Mega Man fans.
Exactly. But then again, 9 sold really well, and that led to 10, which was... I mean, it exists.
I mean, it's not bad. There's good in it. More. We don't want the series to stagnate. We want it to evolve.
Exactly. So anyway, my last word is going to be, I think somebody finally... So we all heard the news not too long ago that the creative director there was that big petition that somebody made about putting Shaggy in Mortal Kombat, speaking of characters coming to that series. And the lead creative director of the game said, that's funny, but no. Like, he came just short of calling the whole Shaggy thing a dead meme. But apparently somebody disagreed with him because Shaggy ended up in a fighting game anyway.
Oh, I saw that.
Somebody modded Shaggy into Jump Force. You can find this video on YouTube, and I mean, the vocal cues are a little... They don't quite fit, but the work they put into his model and everything, it's pretty good.
Oh god, that made me laugh my ass off when I saw that the other day.
I love it when jokes come full circle. I love it when
same
somebody...
here.
It's like the Bowsette thing. It's like when somebody... It's like that Kermit mod that somebody made for Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Like, where official companies fail, the fans will always come in and fill in the blanks. So, again, good on you, Internet. Keep being you, and keep being awesome. You make my day brighter every single time I log in. And that, I believe, is that. That is going to bring us to the end of this week's last week's Leftovers podcast. God, that was a sentence and a half.
Fnu gets tongue-tied the stream.
That brings us to the end of the podcast this week. I would like to thank my co-host, Noel Moogle. I would like to thank everybody that showed up, has commented below, has helped discuss all of these things with us tonight. Unfortunately, it does not look like we have enough viewers here for a raid, but I am still going to roll the d20 to see if something amazing happens tonight. And, oh, close.
How close?
Very, very close. We got a 19.
God damn it.
Almost there. Not quite. So close and yet so far away.
RNG, why do you hate us?
But y'all, thank you for coming tonight. It's been a blast as always, and please join us again tomorrow night when we will be playing something. Until then, I'm Whatthefnu. Later, everybody.